What's up, y'all? Welcome to a Soul Seed Conversation. My name is Soliel. I am the owner and the CEO of Soul Rise Essentials. I got some nervous energy going on that literally just came out of nowhere, so I need to shake this off, okay? So I'm so excited, y'all. I have been wanting to do something like this for a very long time, and it didn't come to me until I started my business and I started stepping into my power and my purpose. I see Natalie is joining me already. So everything just kind of came full circle. So I was just talking, Natalie, about getting this nervous energy out. I don't know where it came from, honey, but I am trying to just talk it out real quick. So I'm going to join you in on the live. Oh my God, why am I nervous? Okay, hold on. Okay, so this is my first time bringing somebody in with me. View requests, go live. Let's see. Can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on one second. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I wonder if it's because, hey, Nubia. I wonder if it's because I have my phone on silent. All right, try to say something now. Nope. Nubia, can you hear Natalie? Y'all let me know if y'all can hear Natalie. And
Can you?
also if y'all, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes,
You can hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
Oh, awesome. Okay, good. I'll just take these out. It must have been the headphones or something.
Yeah, I thought it was my phone, but okay. But Nubia, you should hear Natalie now. What's up, girl?
It's so good to see you. Thank you so much for doing this and for the honor of being the first guest on your Soul Seat Conversations. I'm so happy to be here.
Look at you out in nature, all in your element, in your zone.
I heard you about the nervous energy and I'm completely there with you. And I was like, where do I feel least nervous? I'm going to go to the little park by my house and feel the woods and feel the flowers around me and just channel it that way.
That's what's up. That is what's up. I'm so happy that you are here. And literally that nervous energy came out of nowhere because I was pumped. I was like, I'm excited. You know, I've been telling you I'm excited. So, hey,
Yes.
Latoya. So I don't know, literally right before I turned my camera on, my throat started getting tight and like, but I'm not nervous to the point where I don't want to do this. So it's like it's a good thing, right?
Definitely.
So I'm going to make some like quick announcements real quick before we get into the conversation. And then I'll tap you back into the convo if that's okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so again, I just wanted to introduce myself to everybody. I am Soliel Lindsey. I'm the owner and the CEO of Soul Rise Essentials, and we are a wellness brand, a global wellness brand based in Richmond, Virginia, USA. And what we do is we offer unisex affirmation and apparel. And we just opened in July, so we are a very new business. We are a woman-owned, Black-owned, inclusive brand, and we're just really excited to be here. So aside from the affirmation apparel that we offer on our website, we also promote mental wellness. So we promote wellness in general, but mental wellness is like our niche, and we really want to be able to serve our community and share stories like this. So that's where the Soul Rise Tribe, that's what we do as the Soul Rise Tribe, as the Soul Tribe. And now with our Soul Seed Conversations, this is one of our ways that we want to bring information about wellness and triumph and overcoming tragedy and trauma, and how we're learning to go from being resilient, which is great. It's what has us here on our journey still, but we are sharing stories of survivorship and also giving you guys information on how to now thrive through your life. So that is why the amazing Natalie is here with me. I met her a couple of weeks ago in a networking group in our area. So I'm just going to let you introduce yourself real quick, and you tell us about your company, Wildly Flourishing, and then we're going to jump into some more stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Soleil. So yeah, my name is Natalie Stickle. My pronouns are they or she. Both of those are fine with me. And my company is called Wildly Flourish, LLC. I am a wellness coach specifically for multi-passionate people. So if you have multiple passions, projects, creative pursuits, I know you, I feel you, and that's who I love to serve with forming healthy habits and a lifestyle built around holistic health. And I think that as multi-passionate people, we tend to put a lot of our projects, a lot of our pursuits and also the needs of other people ahead of our health and ahead of our own well-being. And so I'm here to change that and help everyone see that in order to do the things you want to do and be the person you want to be, sometimes you need to put yourself first so that you can better serve in the ways that you're here to serve.
Can you give one more definition about what a multi-passionate is?
Yeah, for sure. So another term is like a Renaissance person, a polymath. Emily Wapnick is one of my personal heroes. They are amazing, and they started the blog Putty Like, meaning like you're malleable, like silly putty. And they kind of coined this term, or at least brought into the mainstream this term of multi-potentialite is another term for it. So they define it as someone with multiple passions and creative pursuits. And it can be somebody who does lots of different things simultaneously. Like maybe you're an artist, you're a graphic designer, you're a singer, you're an entrepreneur, you're a mother, all of these things at once, right? But it could also mean somebody who does it sequentially. So maybe you've had 4 or 5 changes of your career path throughout your life. So you could be a multi-passionate person, kind of all of these things at once that you're doing, or sequentially, if that makes sense.
And the idea is that you are equally passionate about all of those things, right?
It could be. That's a great question, Soliel. So it could be for sure that you want to create a life and a career path that integrates all of your many passions and interests. But I think it's also important to understand that not all of our passions, first of all, not all of our curiosities and interests need to be passions, right? Sometimes that word carries with it so much seriousness.
Right.
But also that not all of our passions need to be making us money or need to be, providing us income.
Right. Okay. I love it. So can you talk to us about your company, Wildly Flourishing, and where you're based at? Let them know where you are.
Yeah, for sure. So I am based in Richmond, Virginia, just like you. I've been here almost 10 years now, and I started my company in November of last year. So I am a budding health coach, holistic health coach, thanks to Legacy Holistic Health Institute, which is based in Georgia, I believe. I'm taking classes with them online. But I've been coaching people in healthy habits for almost 3 years now, starting with friends, really small, and people started asking me, like, why don't you, stretch into this? Why don't you expand into this a little more? And I started thinking about formulating a business around it. And so that's how Wildly Flourish came to be. And I'm here to help, like I said, multi-passionate people specifically. And I primarily work with those who identify as women, although not exclusively.
Okay.
Just step into their fullness and build healthy habits that actually nourish them. Not these things that you feel like you should be doing because of X, Y, or Z, or because so-and-so told you that it's the healthy thing to do, but things that really truly nourish you on a mind, body, spirit level. But also, I want to expand the definition of holistic health and be a part of the movement that says it's not about like drinking green smoothies every day, although that can be a part of it.
Right.
It's not about you have to be a morning person, right? But it's about stepping into an understanding of reconnecting with your whole self on a communal level too, with other people, in relationship, in kinship with other people, and with the land that we all came from.
I love how you talk about like an integrative process, because what I'm seeing now in terms of what people are talking about concerning health and wellness and your mental health, it's really self-focused, which is fine. You do have to go inside and you need to do your work individually, but I love how your business keeps it focused on other people as well. It's like what I've learned about emotional intelligence is how I show up in the world, how I interact with the world, and what other people, how other people are interacting with me as well. So it's not just about me. I want to be healthy. I want to be this and I want to be that. But you're also bringing in the community aspect of it. And like you say, even the earth as well, right? So I really like that a lot.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's really important to understand that obviously our destinies are all bound up with each other. And if we're not also fighting for collective liberation for all human beings, then what are we doing,
What are we doing?
And
because it's not all about us.
Exactly. And when we look into lessons from the natural world, which I'm very passionate about, I think that we can all glean our own stories and our own lessons from nature. But you find again and again what indigenous peoples have known for millennia, and then what science is also starting to back up. We are finding that the natural world is full of so many more examples of interdependence and collaboration than it is with competition, right? And so the more that we honor that beginning, all of our origin stories in that beginning, the better off we'll all be.
Yes, I love that. I love the fact that like what you're doing and what Soul Rise Essentials represents is really intertwined. And it just makes me really happy because when we first connected, I'm like, I don't know this woman. She doesn't know me, but it was like an instant, I don't know. I felt a real appreciation for who you are. I don't even know everything there is to know about you. And I wanted you to save some of your story for today, but I just knew, what do they say? You know the vibe when you feel it. You know your people when you feel it. So that's what we're doing over here with the Soul Tribe as well. So I appreciate you and honor you for what you're doing with your brand. And, you know, it just, like I said, it intertwines with what we've got going on with the Soul Tribe as well. So shout out to you for doing your individual work and helping people do theirs and collectively helping us all remember that we have work to do as a community. So I'm just, it makes me really, really happy. I want to look at my notes real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything before we jump into your story.
While you do that, oh, go ahead. No, sorry.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I just wanted to say, I haven't told you that, like, I love the term that you use on all of your apparel, pack light, so much because it has this dual meaning to me. And I know we kind of talked about this when we Zoomed a while back, but yes, exactly. I need to get me a shirt. But pack light means like, you know, put some things down that no longer serve you. Yes. Pack light, right? Lessen your burden, lessen your load. But it also means take with you light, you know, actual light, and like bring that out into the world. So I love that. I think it's so special. And I totally agree. I resonated with you immediately. And I'm so glad we're sitting here having this conversation.
Absolutely. So I just want to say hey to everybody that's joining us in the comments in the Soul Tribe. We have some comments and I see some of my friends. Maybe there's some people that you know that are joining as well. So I just want to read a comment from B Fashion Fluence. She says, agree, it's frustrating when people think they need to throw others away because their timing and or health journey are different. So true. Boundaries are important. That's a whole nother conversation, but togetherness is equally important. And you have to figure out what it means to you and discern when you need to be close to somebody or when you need to put a boundary up. So I just love that our focus is community centered.
Yeah, thank you for that comment.
Natalie, girl. So you opened up a business in a whole pandemic and your friends actually encouraged you to do that. So I want to know more about you, Natalie. You said did you tell them that Natalie K was the name that you go by?
Kane is my middle name. So that is how I've been on Facebook for a long time. Stickle is my last name.
Okay.
So either one.
Okay. Who is Natalie Kane Stickle? Who are you? What is your story, man?
Well, if there are other multi-passionate people listening, I'm sure they can relate to this. It is so hard to answer that question sometimes, but it can also be really freeing because sometimes I just want to be like, well, how much time do you have? And sometimes sometimes it's a fun challenge.
I like that perspective. I want to preface it by saying this. I'm not asking what it is that you do, because we're going to get into that more as well. I want to know, aside from your passions and what you do in the titles, who is Natalie, like at her core, when you take all of that away?
That's such a powerful question. When I take everything away, it's kind of like asking, how many layers am I shedding right now? Okay. So at my core, I feel like I am just here to connect with the earth and with other people and sort of help be a part of the movement that shows everyone that connection. Because none of us are truly disconnected, but sometimes the prevailing society would have us believe that we are. And so how do we recognize and honor the reciprocal relationship we have inevitably, inherently, with all other people and with other beings and with the earth?
Gotcha.
So I hope that sort of answers your question.
It answers my question. I also want to go to a different level as well. So in terms of your resiliency story, what things have you had to go through that put you on a journey to continue to bounce back and be malleable and be resilient? What does that part of your journey look like?
Awesome question. So the story that I feel like defined a big part of my life was surviving an abusive relationship that I got out of over 7 years ago now. And for a long time, I gave myself a really hard time about like not being over it yet, not being done with grieving for that part of my life, and not being done with feeling guilty, and the role that I felt like I played when I was defending myself, right? And so I think that I'm still on that healing journey, but I think that there is so much to be said for whatever has happened to you or is happening to you. What are the stories that you're telling yourself about it?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've told myself a lot of different stories over the years about what happened. And I come back to resilience and that word and what lots of different people have said that it means and what I feel like it means. And a while ago, I actually learned, if I can share with you a quick story.
Absolutely.
About giant sequoia trees. And they're the largest trees on earth, right? And they can grow to be thousands of years old. And they actually can't reproduce. They can't go on as a species without wildfires. So when wildfires occur in their environment, it clears the ground of undergrowth, and the heat and the dryness that comes from the flames actually open these cones in the tops of these trees. And that allows the cones to open, to crack open, and to drop their seeds onto the ground.
Wow.
And
that's the only way that tree can reproduce.
Yeah. And so they evolved along with what could be seen as this, you know, terrible destructive force, wildfires. And that's not to say that everyone needs trauma, you know, in order to self-actualize. That is absolutely not true. And we can all collectively fight against the forces, the systems, the people that perpetuate trauma. But at the same time, it is still happening. So how do we choose to take what happened to us and cultivate meaning from that?
Yes.
How has what happened to me cleared the ground for new growth?
Yes.
How has it cracked me open and allowed me to expand even more and scatter my own seeds, if you will? So
yes,
I continue to work with a therapist. I think that's really important, and I want everyone to be able to have access to a mental health professional that gets them and that who they resonate with. So that's been a big part of my journey. And my therapist in the past helped me to see that self-defense is not being abusive yourself, right? And they helped me to see that I can rewrite my own story, and that's up to me. No one's going to do that for me.
Yep. Ooh, girl, I got chills and I'm about to cry. I love the fact that we are sitting here having a conversation about therapy and like what that actually looks like and what you were able to gain from your therapist. And also your comment about, I call it rewriting my narrative. That is something that I've also had to use on my own personal journey, because like you said, we can get stuck in the stories that we tell ourselves. And what if that narrative, that story is just completely not true? And that narrative is coming from the trauma that you've had to go through, right? Until you make a stand and you're like, I got to do something different. And then you meet somebody else that helps you gain a new perspective and you're able to rewrite your narrative. That is so beautiful. And I love what you shared about the tree and like having, you know, the ashes spread, because that, not the ashes, but your seeds being spread, because that's what you're doing with your business. And I wrote down some notes when we had a conversation the first time we met a few weeks ago, and a couple of your titles. And I don't want to use quotation marks to diminish like what you do, but there are a couple titles that I wanted to share. So you are an ecotherapy practitioner, a habits coach, a transformational wellness coach, right? So those are some of the things that you do. And like, who knows if you would even be able to do those things had you not gone through those fires, and now you're able to spread your seeds. And I just love it. I just love it. So is there anything else that you want to share about your resiliency story?
Yeah. I think that for me personally, and I can only speak for myself when it comes to trauma and healing, for me personally, being really open and practicing radical honesty was not something that came easily at first, as I came to terms with what happened to me, but it's been an integral, essential part of my journey. So just sharing what happened, which included physical abuse, which included verbal and emotional abuse, and realizing that like you pass people every day, or people could be in your family, or people could be in your friend circle who have gone through something like that. It's not that far away, right?
Ever.
And so I would never pressure anyone to share their story if they didn't feel ready. But for me, it's time. It's beyond time. And I feel like the more we talk about these things, the less stigma there is. And without needing too much of a trigger warning, just like the more we're able to open up about these sorts of things and talk about some of the details when you feel ready, the less alone that one person might feel. And that's everything. That's everything.
Yes. And that is exactly why the Soul Seed conversation segment even exists, because I want people to hear stories like yours, whether they resonate with what you've gone through or not. They know somebody that's gone through what you've gone through. But all in all, if you take a blank line, whatever you want to insert there that happened to you, put it in there and understand that you are not by yourself. That's exactly why we do what we do. I know that some situations I've dealt with in the past, when depression creeps up on you, it really tries to make you feel like you are alone. For me, that was my experience when I experienced it in my early 20s. And for me, that was the most debilitating thing and feeling I ever went through, because literally this big, beautiful world out here gets this small when you're going through depression, and it is a trick. And you literally hear you're all by yourself. So these conversations exist. And I have conversations like these all the time amongst my friends and my family. It's just something I like to do. And I feel that it's very necessary. So I'm just really honored and proud that we're able to bring this online and it be a global thing. Anybody that touches this Instagram channel can see and hear your story and other people's stories. Like I said, you don't have to have gone through exactly what Natalie has gone through, but there's a blank slate and you put in whatever you've gone through and whatever commas, after that. And just understand, like, you're never, ever by yourself. And I feel like if more people understood that, if they just use this right here, whatever means that you have of communication, if that's writing it down, like you getting it out of you and allowing that to just permeate out and not in, like that is so important to your healing journey. If nobody ever knows what you've gone through, how can you lie to yourself and say, I'm by myself? You don't know that. You haven't shared it with anybody or put it out into the universe to even know, like, if you're by yourself. So I appreciate your thoughts on that. Do you want to share anything else?
Yeah, you just reminded me of something else. I think sometimes we don't share our story, and there's lots of different reasons, and they're all okay and they're all valid. But sometimes we're pressured not to share our story because we feel like we don't have anyone to share it with. And so I think on the flip side of being open to sharing, if you feel like it's your time, it's being someone who people can share with. Be that active listener that is non-judgmental, who is just there to listen, and not impose upon you their own story. Like, it's time to share, it's time to listen, and it can be reciprocal. So be that person who people feel like they could share something like that with. And I see this comment, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Very, very true. I wanted to echo and underline that. And then of course,
she agrees.
Yes. And definitely, I think it's so challenging sometimes to share our story, and again, that's okay. But also, the more we hear about what other folks have gone through, the better understanding we'll have of all the different ways that trauma can manifest. Because even if something very similar happened to you as did to me, it might not manifest in a similar way. It might not manifest physically in the same way, emotionally in the same way. And, there's also intergenerational trauma as well. So all of these things, the more we talk about it, the better understanding that we'll have, the more empathy and compassion we'll speak.
Right. Yeah. I love all of that. And when you brought up intergenerational trauma, girl, I mean, I can get on here and put on lipstick and some cute hoops and this soul tribe necklace and this pack light tea and all that. But if you take all that away, these conversations are very deep. They are very, very heavy. and very, very necessary. And I have found in my own journey that I truly now understand with a different lens and mindset why people don't share. So just going back to a comment that I made earlier and that you made too, when it's your time to share, when you feel moved to share. But I also want to add too that when our lives are being disrupted by our trauma and the stories we don't tell, like if you live with that every day, you go to your pillow, you cry every night, and it's ruminating, and it's something it's always present with you. That may be a signal that it's time. Like even if you have to, there are so many ways that we can find a listening ear. And sometimes it could be, back in the day, they used to have like these forums online, right? So if you're having an issue, you go to Yahoo and type in whatever the issue was, something like that. Or YouTube, there's a community for everything. Clubhouse, if you don't want to be seen, you don't want to see anybody else, go, check out a group there. I'm serious. There's a community out there for everything in your local area. There may be, and I'm just speaking to our experience in the US because we are very, very privileged. So and that's why I want this to be global, so I can have my mind open to, resources that other people do not have. So I can only speak to the resources I know we have here in the US, but local community groups and group therapy sessions and just a friend. And if you don't have that, if you happen to have the internet and you land on something like this, a community of people that just simply want to put resources out there to you, not because we're professionals or we have all these degrees and things like that. You are a professional at what you do, but in terms of like being a mental health professional or something like that, we're not claiming to be that. We just want to be we want to share our stories, and then we want to be an inspiration and a light to you, and also maybe we can share something that you didn't know, just a resource. So, and if you have things that you want to share with us, we're here for that as well. So hopefully that's something that we can be for you all, and you benefit from it. So is there anything else you want to share about your resiliency journey? And you can tell me, girl, stop asking me. Let's move to the next thing.
Okay. So something that I don't talk about very publicly, I kind of toyed with myself, like, do I want to talk about this? And I was like, yes, if not here, I felt personally like, then where? And I felt like this would be a good time, a good place, a good platform to share it. So most of like my closest friends and family, they know that I'm bisexual. And I didn't come out until I was 28 years old. And when I was younger, I, really felt that I wasn't quite straight, but I wasn't quite gay, and I didn't know what to make of it. And gay and straight was the only vocabulary that I had growing up in a rural area to talk about it. And even though I know that my parents would have thankfully been very accepting, I believe, there was so much shame put upon me by, I think, maybe the area, or maybe, the society that I was living in, the people at school. I just never felt like it was something I could talk to anyone about. And so it took me a long time to reconcile with it, to accept that part of myself. And I think that it's so beautiful how this youngest generation now is, I think, more accepting than we've ever been as a society. Yes. And I think that I'm so grateful for people who don't fully identify as straight, like having so many different role models now, and seeing people who are very open about how they feel and reflect some of their own feelings and their own identities, and are so much more connected thanks to the internet. I know so many negative things can come from the online world, but also so much connection, just like we're doing right now. So I felt like if anyone needed to hear that, then there it is. And I hope that it can help you connect with a part of yourself and feel, ready to talk about something that maybe you haven't been yet.
Wow, girl. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you found your community. And even though do I say coming out? Is that what you say?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. I mean, everyone's different, right? But
I just want to make sure I was respecting what what your wish would be. So even if because how old are you now?
31.
31. You just came out, right? And
more or less to a larger audience, yeah.
Right, but like you're able to stand in that now and be like, listen, this is who I am. So kudos to you on that. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's taken a long time, and I feel like, to some people, their sexuality is a huge part of their identity, and that's wonderful. To me, I don't feel like it is just I don't feel like it's the biggest part of myself or the most important part of myself or even like a major part of myself. I just don't even think about it anymore
Yeah.
because of, yeah. And for me personally, it's just because I've finally come to terms with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. All right. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything because there is another thing I want to shift to, but I don't want to go too soon if you're not ready.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, in terms of what you do with Wildly Flourishing, is there anything else that
Mhm.
you want to share about that? Because I want to get into what you do with your clients. What does that look like when you're working with your
Yeah,
clients? Because you
definitely.
are available to be booked, right?
I am. Yep,
Okay.
I am available. I have on my website, which is wildlyflourish.com. There is, if you scroll down just a little ways, there is a place where you can book a 45-minute healthy habits consultation call with me on Zoom. So we basically go over what are your goals in building healthy habits in your life and how can I support you in those goals. So the consultation is fully free, and I am taking, I have space for 3 one-on-one clients currently.
Okay. Got it. So they can go to wildlyflourishing.com.
Wildlyflourish.com. Mm-hmm.
Oh, but is your business Wildly Flourish or Wildly Flourishing?
The actual title is Wildly Flourish LLC,
Got
but the
it.
Instagram handle that I got was Wildly Flourishing. I know it's a little confusing.
That's why I couldn't find you on Facebook. I tried to tag you in something. I kept putting
Oh
flourishing,
no,
and then
sorry
Wildly
about that.
Flourish LLC did come up, but I thought I saw a black girl on there. I said that ain't her. So, but that makes sense. All right, that makes sense. So, what do you do? And don't answer that just yet. I'm gonna give you another preface. When I ask you what do you do, what I mean by that is what do you do for wellness? What does wellness care look like for you in your life now beyond the things that you shared before, the domestic abuse and things like that? What does life look like fast forward to 7 years now? What do you do?
Great question. Um, I feel like a movement practice is essential. Being active, being physically active is essential to me. And as a multi-passionate person, I don't love to do the exact same thing every day. And I
Dang,
find
honey, that's
that that is,
boring.
yeah, that's okay. You know, I don't need my routines, my rituals to look exactly the same way all of the time, but I need to get outside and I need to move my body in a way that feels good to me. So sometimes that's dance, sometimes it's yoga, sometimes it's going for a hike, just in the James River Park system. So that is probably the most important thing to me for wellness. I also do enjoy meditation, but again, I don't try to um, make these big grandiose goals like if I'm new to meditation, I'm going to meditate for an hour every day. I don't think that's generally how, like, the best way to start. And sometimes there are days where I don't meditate, but I
Right.
do try to practice mindfulness in all sorts of different ways. And you can do that through mindfully eating a meal. You can do that through a mindful conversation where you're fully present and not distracted with someone. So, of course, mindfulness is a big part of it, and that can take on many forms as well.
Girl, I just had a realization when you said that. So I'm a person that I'm an Aries and we like adventure. We like to be spontaneous. I don't like to do anything the same way every single day. That is so boring to me. Like literally, I just can't stand it. Right. So when you said, so in terms of relating that to my wellness journey, I used to be hard on myself because I'm like, somebody asked me about meditation. I didn't really get into meditation until like a month ago. And my naturopathic doctor that I work with, she had been trying to get me into it. And I was like, I just can't sit still that long. Like, but she said, you need to try it. There were some things that I was discussing with her. And she was like, I really think that this would um, benefit you. And I was not sold until she explained to me the benefits that she gained from meditation. She was saying that if something happened and typically she would just react to it, meditation gave her the time. Literally, there was like, she said, there was a gap in between when something would
Mm.
happen that would trigger her to her response. She said that gap came from meditation. So she was able to just step outside of herself, think, and then have a reaction. I said, well, yeah, I might need that. So I started to meditate. And I also started to beat myself up about the way I meditate because
Mm.
I don't do it every day. I look at meditation for my practice. It's something that when I need to recenter and reset my mind, like today, I'm probably going to meditate because this past couple of weeks have been really rough for me. But it's not something that me personally, I feel like I have to do every day. And at one point I did, and I started beating myself up about it. I'm like, I don't know why. Don't people say you should meditate every day? So I say all that to say that as long as you are well and you know what modalities you want to use and that you need to use when you need to do them, do it. Like, don't make it a part of, oh, well, don't make it a thing like, well, such and such posts every day. They do yoga and meditation every day, but that's them and their journey, right? If you still
Right.
wake up and you feel well and you don't feel like there's anything you need to do to recenter or whatever it is, then you don't have to. But I just had that realization because it's like my wellness journey does not look, or wellness routine does not look the same way every day. Like at first,
Right.
when I transitioned into entrepreneurship, I was really excited about, juicing every day and stretching every day, which you probably should because we getting old, honey, and these bones, I probably should do that every day. But I was just like, I'm going to stretch, I'm going to work out for a few minutes, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to have my juice. And it does not look like that. So that freed me up a little bit when you said, you do things a little bit different every day. That's okay.
That is okay. It is. And something that I recommend for some of my clients, which keeps it fresh, but also provides some structure, because a lot of time, entrepreneurs, multi-passionates, we can often feel like we need that extra help, that extra framework for being more consistent with things. But we also don't want to feel like really confined. And like you said, like you have to do the same thing every day. And so something I recommend is just setting 3 timers on your phone. One for 15 minutes, one for 10, and then one for 5. So you have these 3 5-minute chunks. You can do this anytime. It could be like a morning routine, it could be a bedtime routine, or whatever you choose to do it with. But try to think of one practice you could do wherever you are for your mind, one for your body, one for your spirit or soul. And that can look really different for anyone, right? So for example, maybe for the first 5-minute timer, I really want to move and I just want to dance for 5 minutes and put on a favorite song and dance. And then for the next 5 minutes, when that other timer goes off, maybe I want to journal for a while and do something kind of for my mind and just get it all out. And then for the last 5 minutes, then I feel, empty and ready to receive, and I want to sit down and I feel better able to sit still if I want to and meditate. So that's just one way that's one thing that I recommend some of my clients if they're looking for some semblance of routine, some semblance of a framework or a structure, but that still provides so much flexibility.
I like that. So you just gave me a kind of a glimpse into like the type of service and advice that you give to your clients, which is dope. So I want to read some comments real quick. And also I wanted to add on top of that, when you mentioned act like just mindfulness, instead of it being like these things that I have to do, just practicing mindfulness and whatever that looks like. So when you said mindful eating or mindful listening, I was like, oh, so even though I'm not doing these acts per se every single day, like I am when I'm with my friends, I'm not on my phone, I'm looking, I'm listening, I'm being intentional. So that made me feel a little bit better because it's like I am doing, something. Yes. So I gotta go scroll back up for this one, but
yeah, I think that really provides a useful application for mindfulness outside of what a lot of people think mindfulness is.
Yes.
But if you can apply it to your daily life and have it change you in meaningful, positive ways, starting right now, then what use is it, right? And exactly. I think that mindfulness, we need to honor where it came from. And yes, sitting and meditating is also a wonderful thing. To sit still and meditate, it is an amazing thing. But also, yeah, how can you apply mindfulness to what you're already doing?
So what you're already doing, literally, if it's walking to the mailbox, leaving your phone and just walking with no shoes on. For me, this is what it looks like for me. When I used to water my plants and stuff, because I've been way too busy lately, but that was my meditation in the morning. I would feel really connected to walking in the grass with no shoes on, going to go check my mail, no phone, leaving the phone in the house, watering my plants. I feel closest to God and to nature when I'm doing that, when I'm gardening. So that's what it looks like for me. And I'm like, okay, I didn't meditate today, but I did do that. And I feel really good about that. Right.
Beautiful. Right.
So, B Fashion Influence says, I love how transparent you are, Soliel, about asking for even small things. Yes. Because I am from the school of thought, you have not because you ask not. Every time I ask, I always get what I need. So Thank you. And
Yes.
then Aligned Root Soul Guide, that's my twin sister, y'all. She says, agreed, your journey is your own. Your happiness will be your own as well. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
And Be Fashion Influence says, I like to challenge myself for a specific time period, like a 1 week meditation challenge. There's a little routine, but it's not an unending routine I must adhere to. I like that.
Mhm. Yes,
I like that.
definitely. I
Yeah.
think sometimes it's hard when we think we need to do something indefinitely, like they just said. It's just like, that sounds a little daunting sometimes, right? It's like, I'm going to form this habit for life, every single day for
Yep.
life,
Yep.
right? When really, sometimes it's helpful to, yes, do a challenge. I love that idea, that has kind of an endpoint. Also, attaching it to a goal. Like, let's say you want to become a runner. Maybe you want to be someone who runs consistently, but instead of trying to run 5 times a week for the rest of your life, maybe you sign up for a 5K or something. And so you're like, okay, I'm going to train for this, I'm going to run for this, and then after that endpoint, I'll decide how it's going to fit into my life from now on.
Right, absolutely. And like you said earlier, you were saying that you're still on your healing journey, right? This is something that I came to realize a few years ago. It's not that you've been healed, it's a process. And it's the fact that you jumped on that process and got into that journey in the first place, because some people never do it at all. So it's like you may be triggered again after 5, 6, 7, 8 years of therapy. There may become a time with this one little incident that probably never would have happened, but you ended up in the grocery store on this day at this time, and a certain trigger popped out at you, right? And it activated something in your brain, and here you are having an experience that you thought you would never have again because of this work that you've done, this therapy that you've done. But we are all human, and we're all on this journey. It's if you choose to get on the journey toward healing. I don't, for me, that's just my personal opinion. It's not like I wake up one day and I'm healed, I don't have this issue anymore. Certain things maybe, but in terms of like trauma and things that you've endured that you had no control over, there are things and situations, smells, scents, locations, things that just trigger you, and it can come at any given point. So just staying on that journey and just choosing to get on the journey, it's a process. It really is a process. Mhm.
I so appreciate you bringing that up because it's definitely the same for me. I feel like I will encounter occasionally my ex's cologne, just like passing someone by, right? And that's a
Girl.
totally unexpected trigger. And
Yes.
part of resilience is competence and coping and having those tools in order to move through those kinds of experiences. So I think
that
it's so important.
that is the healing. That's when you know that you, because you went back and you went forward and you acquired the tools to be able to handle a situation like that. And even if you didn't handle it in the best way, resilience and healing is also moving forward to find out how, I can navigate through that experience the next time it happens again. If it happens, there could be a certain sound that you hear. Like, listen, that point that you brought up just now, certain colognes, I can see somebody that looks like a person that, I had a really bad traumatic experience with. They could be the sweetest person. This one guy wanted to date me one time. I'm like, no, you look too much like this person and you sound just like them. It was just so weird. But those are things in our brain that trauma rewires. It literally changes your brain. So it's not
Mhm.
like, I just couldn't move forward with that situation. So yeah, it's a lot to be unpacked and talked about in terms of how we are triggered. So I want to
Yes.
read another comment. Sorry, did you have something to say?
Oh no, go ahead.
I'm gonna read. Aligned Root Soul Guide said, mindfulness is being present with self and source. It's not intentional all the time. Love it.
Mhm.
Just being there, choosing to be.
Right.
Medley Style. That's my
Intentional and
godmama.
integrated.
Huh?
Mhm. Intentional and integrated, right? It's similar with exercise. We can choose to set aside time and do this specific workout, for example, and that's like exercise. We set aside time for it. It's intentional. It takes place within a certain context and location. And then we have like integrated physical activity, right? Which is like maybe I make it a habit to like walk around every time I'm on the phone, for example. So you can also think of mindfulness that way. There's intentional mindfulness, which is I
Yeah.
set aside time to practice mindful awareness. And there's integrated mindfulness, which is like we talked about earlier, mindful conversation, active listening, mindful eating, mindful walking.
Yeah. I love it. I'm learning so much. And y'all let us know down below if you are learning or gaining anything from this conversation. We're gonna be on for a few more minutes. I do have a couple more questions to ask you. I don't want to hold you all day long, but I'm really enjoying this, just so you know. Medley Style, that's my godmom. She says, I'm so proud of you both sharing so many personal gems with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And B Fashion Influence says, amen to that. Align Rule Soul Guy said, well said. Thank y'all so much for being interactive and joining in on the conversation. Align Roots also said, the healing never ends. So when triggers arise, it's not that you have regressed. It shows how we still have things around us we can't control. Yes. So moving forward, it's about choice and response. Round of applause, my man. Round of applause. I love, it's not that you have regressed. It shows that we still have things around us that we can't control, y'all. Ooh, that's good. That's good. So we talked about what you do. We talked about your business. I want to know from you, what's one thing you wish everyone knew about you, that you could just scream on the rooftops, and if everybody in the world could hear it, what would you want them to know about you?
Wow.
I'll be coming with the questions.
Very powerful questions, Soleil, and I am going to need a moment. And you know what? That's okay. I have also learned to be okay with silence, you know?
Yes, you think, and then I'm going to share something with them real quick. So go ahead and think while I'm talking.
Sure.
So I have this dice in my office, and it has a different saying on it. And today I didn't roll it. I just told it where to go. Today we are choosing to live past our trauma. We are living past our obstacles, and we are intentionally showing up every single day of our lives. That's what we represent here. That's what we promote here at Soul Tribe. So I want to share that with y'all. And also, while she's breaking, I'm just going to take a moment to shout out to my affirmation apparel. Get you a hat, honey. Pack Light hat. And then the necklace that I always wear. I want to show y'all. No, I'm not going to. That's another live. I have my Soul Tribe necklace in rose gold. We also offer silver and gold. And then this is the Pack Light affirmation tee. I'm a little sweaty, but it's okay. This is
Me too.
They come in small all the way to extra large. So y'all go to our website and shop soulriseessentials.com. After that commercial, we're going to tap back into Natalie. Thank you, Mama. Have a good one. Thank you for joining.
Something I wish everyone knew about me. Wow.
I love the birds in the back. Y'all better sing for us.
Oh my gosh, the cicadas just got so loud too.
Oh,
so
I hope the birds hear me. Cicadas.
The birds are chirping too. That's true. So something I wish I kind of want to like make it silly because
that's cool. That's cool.
Oh my gosh, I can't juggle. I know this is so random, but I used to be a circus performer. So I used to spin fire and hula hoop and spin fans and staff and everything like as a professional performer years ago. And I never learned to juggle. And I always thought it was like one of those random social skills that you should have, like being able to shuffle a deck of cards or something.
Right.
Like, never learned how to juggle, and I try and I try and I try. So and
you would stand on the
you should know that about me, that not every circus performer knows how to juggle, and that's okay.
The fact that you used to be a circus performer, that's so cool to me. How long did you do that?
A few years. So I started hula hooping and hoop dancing in 2009. And I did it full-time professionally in 2015 for a while. And then had numerous gigs that like were not my main source of income or anything, for years surrounding that year.
That's dope. I would have never guessed that. I mean, I can see you doing the hula hoop thing and the fire thing, but not at the circus, but I think that's so dope.
You asked, like, what is something you wish everyone knew about you? And I was like, that's such a powerful question. And I should come up with a better answer at some point. But I was like, it reminded me of that question of like, what's a random fun fact about you? Right. And so I was like, here's one.
I used to play clarinet in 8th grade. Like,
you used to play clarinet?
Yeah, in the 8th grade. I was terrible. I couldn't hit the high notes.
I love it.
I could not hit the high notes. I was not.
I was in band in high school too.
Yeah, I never made it to band. It was just music class where your mama had to go buy the instrument and you had to learn.
Oh, awesome.
That's cool. So I have another question. Two more things and then we'll be finished. So what's one thing you wish people from your past knew about the new you now?
Oh my gosh. That's, you've got these questions.
I should have sent these to you. I
So
literally
good.
came up with these
No,
today.
no, I love it. I love that you didn't, honestly. So in the moment. So I this is something we haven't talked about yet. I struggled with alcohol for many years. I think I had my first alcoholic drink when I was like 12. And it was no good from there on out. And I definitely gained the level of dependency that is not healthy. Certainly dependent on it for many years. And there's a lot of people in my past who I'm sure I hurt when I was drinking, or when I was just, even if I was sober, when I was just in the throes of dealing with that. And I just want them to know that I am healing, and that, alcohol is not an excuse for the ways in which I'm sure I acted as a party person who drank too much, but definitely working on myself, and I hope that they are too.
Girl, that touched me. I got tears in my eyes. Thank you for sharing. Oh, I hope they see this. I hope you understand that she's doing her work and she's sorry. Okay. That really touched me. So, thank you for sharing that. Last one is share one sentence to someone or with someone that's having a rough day, a rough week, and maybe even feel like they are having a rough life. One
I'm
sentence.
sorry. Can you say that one more time?
Yep. So share one sentence with someone that may be having a rough day, a rough week, or may even be feeling like they're having a rough life.
Mm. Let's see.
And if you want,
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you are not your past. You're not defined by how you dealt with things in the past. And at your core, you are even more than the stories that you tell yourself, although those stories matter and they're very important. You're here, you are breathing, and you are enough.
Another round of applause. Thank you so much. I think I'm all out of questions, but if there's anything that you want to share before we leave off of here, aside from letting people know how to reach out to you, share it.
All I want to say is thank you so much to Soleil. You are doing incredible and much needed, essential work with your business and beyond your business in this world. So I just want to thank you so much for the deep, deep honor of being your first Soul Seat guest.
Yes.
I cannot wait for the next one and to follow along and just see all of the different lives that you're touching through Soul Rise. And I can't wait to get me a shirt and a hat. So if you want to follow, yes. But if anyone on here wants to follow along with me, they can find Wildly Flourish LLC on Facebook. They can also find at Wildly Flourishing on Instagram. And you can definitely join the Building Healthy Habits for Multi-Passionates Facebook group. That's the title if you are interested in what I do and what we are doing in that community, because it's really powerful and so much good things happening and people building each other up. So it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, I love that group. I know I don't interact in there, but I do see the things that you post, and they are absolutely valuable. And I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, but I really love that. So keep doing your work, girl. And thank you so much. I'm happy that we connected. I'm happy that you have braved through telling your story. I hope that you gain something from this, and I can't wait to see what other opportunities you're going to get as a result of this, and just in general. So I'm just proud of you. I'm always proud of people that are doing their work, because it's not easy. It's very scary. And like I said earlier, I know why people don't tap in and do this work, because it's scary and it's really tough. So shout out to you. I'm glad that you have overcome everything. Welcome to the Soul Tribe. And again, I really appreciate all of y'all for joining us. We got a comment. We have awesome. Thank you both. This is wonderful work that you both are doing. Great job, both of you. Thank y'all so much. And I think that's it. Oh, we will have another one of these. I'm going to aim to do them once a month. So we will have another one of these. So y'all stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. I will be downloading this video and putting it on Facebook. So, and the replay will be available on Instagram as well. If you don't see it on Facebook, it's probably because it's too long and my phone won't let me download it. But the plan is to put it on there. So that's the only reason why you won't see it if you don't see it. So thank you, Nikki. Latoya just got her head off the website. Thank you. Welcome to the Soul Tribe. That's it. Thank y'all so much. Be well. And Natalie, you take care. Everybody else, y'all take care. And we'll see you at the next Soul Seed conversation. Peace, y'all.
Thank you so much, Soleil. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, Natalie. Bye, guys. Have a great day.